This is Brian Murray. I want to welcome you to another episode of Doc Bry, the Physics Guy. Hi everyone, and I'm glad you joined me today because I've got a beauty for you. I was 9 years old the first time I went to see Star Wars, and it was one of those great days in my life. I mean, all these years later, I can still remember queuing around the block to get in. I mean, I was so excited. Everything about that film was magical. When Obi-Wan Kenobi talked about the Force, just like everyone else, I was in awe. It was mind-blowing stuff, even for a kid. When I first came across the Force in physics, I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, the electromagnetic force and the gravitational force were not in the same league as the Star Wars Force, you know. In everyday life, we also talk about force. It's one of those words that has many meanings. You know, we talk about a force to be reckoned with, the police force, an overwhelming force, and there's lots of other things, similar type stuff, you know. If we push something or pull something, we're applying a force. I mean, these are things that are common to us and we do every day. Now, as the years went by and I learned more about the nature of force, including the fact that there's actually four of them, the strong, the weak, the electromagnetic and the gravitational, I still had one question. What exactly is force? And also, actually, a second, how did we end up with four? See, at the beginning of the 20th century, we only had two, electromagnetic and gravitational. Now, I reckon the most well-known, the one just about everyone knows about, is gravitational force. I mean, this is the thing that keeps us stuck to the ground. But what stops us sinking into the ground? There has to be something. And whatever it is, it's different to gravity. The answer is the electromagnetic force. And I'll explain why in detail another day, but for now, we'll accept that it's the electromagnetic force that stops me sinking through the floor. In the 20th century, with the advent of quantum mechanics, the nature of force underwent a bit of a revolution. The Standard Model, which is one of the biggies in physics at the moment, describes force as interactions between something called gauge bosons, and I'll tell you about them another day. But sadly, the Standard Model can't tell us a great deal about gravity. It sort of ignores it, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to know. The weak and the strong force came about from the need to explain how the nucleus of an atom works. See, we know like things repel. If you get two magnets and try to touch the two south poles together, they repel each other. And it's the same with the protons in an atom. The repulsive force is due to the electromagnetic force, and inside an atom, it's huge. So there must be something that can overcome this electromagnetic force and cause the protons to stick together to create the elements. Now we know that gravity is far too weak for this to be the force, so there must be something else, and it's this that we call the strong force. But this can't explain everything, you see. Marie Curie did a lot of work on radioactivity, and this takes place in the nucleus. But there's no way we can currently bend the strong electromagnetic and gravitational forces to explain this behaviour. So the result is that we have to come up with a new force. And this force is weaker than both the strong and the electromagnetic, but it's stronger than the gravitational. So we give it the name the weak force. So now we have four forces. But whenever I think of force, I think of the old parable of the blind man and the elephant. See, this is the story of about a group of blind men, and they've heard about this strange creature, and it's called an elephant. So they go to investigate. None of them were aware of its shape and form. So out of curiosity, they said, we'll go and inspect it by touch. You see, so the first guy, he lays an hand on the trunk and says, the elephant is like a thick snake. The second puts its hand on its ear and says, the elephant is like a kind of fan. And the next person whose hand was upon its leg says, the elephant is like a pillar, a tree trunk. Now the blind man who places his hand upon the side of the elephant says, it's a wall. And another who felt its tail describes it as a rope. Now the last one feels its tusk and describes it like a spear. Each of them's correct, yet they're only describing bits of the elephant, not the whole thing. Now, given the description from the blind man, it would be really difficult, if not impossible, to imagine the shape of the entire elephant. And I often think physics is like that. What is force? Like a lot of physics, at a really fundamental level, we don't really know. And anyone who claims they do is, as my dad says, just another egotistical fool. We do know a lot about it and how it behaves and how to control it. But like time and energy and mass, we're not really sure what it is. I mean, are the four forces really separate? Or are they actually the same force in the same way that an elephant was a tree trunk, a fan, a snake, a wall and so on? We don't really know. Which is great news because it means we've still got to try and figure it out. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one who gets it. Maybe you'll be the one who figures it out. This is Doc Bride, the physics guy. Hey everyone, this is Dr. Bride, the physics guy. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, can you share it with your friends, your fellow students and anyone you think might be interested? That'd be great and you'd be doing me a massive favour. Subscribe now so that you don't miss out on the latest episodes and news. And check out my website right now at drbry.com. That's drbry.com. And for a limited time, I'm giving away the first part of my 7 ingredients course. It's absolutely free. There's almost 40 minutes of free video explaining the course and why you have what it takes to do physics and how it can change your life forever. And there's also a free download that you can keep. All the details are on my website. I'm also on YouTube, Instagram and Facebook, and all the details are there on drbry.com, drbry.com. I look forward to seeing you soon.